So we're looking at calculating concentrations in a new way. We're looking at parts per million. Now it's very similar to the percent volume calculation that we just did. So look for the similarities. So this calculation we use mostly when we're dealing with really tiny amounts of solute that are in large amounts of solvent. So if we're talking about toxins in the air or in the water, something like if mercury is in the water, in what concentration, we would be talking in parts per million, or ppm. You sometimes hear it that way. So instead of finding the percent out of 100 like we did for percent volume, we're now going to be looking at the amount in 1 million. Okay, so same formula as before, and the bonus with this is we can do parts per million with masses or with volumes. It doesn't matter as long as they're in the same units. So if we're dealing with masses, as long as they're both in kilograms or they're both in grams, or if we're dealing with volumes, as long as they're in milliliters or liters, we're good to use these formulas. Now, speaking of formula, your formula for this is on page 10 in your data booklet. And if you're just finding parts per million, I would use the data booklet formula. It's really straightforward. If you are given the parts per million and you need to try and find like the volume of a solute or the solution, then I would use this formula because it's set up so nicely to do the cross multiplying. So now in our question here, we are given an example if 0.5 kilograms of oil is spilled into a swimming pool. So that's our solute. And we're dealing with a mass, kilograms, into a swimming pool containing 10,000 kilograms. So this is our solution of water. What is the concentration of oil in parts per million? Okay, so we're trying to find parts per million. Because we're finding parts per million, I would suggest using the formula that's in our data booklet. So it looks like this. Parts per million is equal to we're dealing with mass this time, so we're going to do mass of the solute divided by mass of the solution, in my little short form for solution. And then it's all going to be multiplied by 1,000,000 now instead of 100. Okay. All right, so let's put some numbers in here. So the mass of our solute is the 0.5 kilograms of oil. And our mass of our solution is 10,000 kilograms. Let's multiply that by 1,000,000. All right, we're going to put this all into our calculator. 0.5 divided by 10,000 and times 1,000,000. And we're going to get 50. Just pull the screen down a bit. 50. And our units are parts per million.